Have you ever met people who kind of think they're God's gift to the world? You know, they have egos the size of Kentucky, and they've kind of put themselves on a pedestal. They think that all the world is supposed to bow before them, that they're the greatest thing, and you should acknowledge how great they are. Yeah, we've probably all met somebody like that in our lives. And how do we usually feel about people like that? We usually are not very comfortable around them. We usually want to get away. People like that don't tend to be the people want to be friends with, because they invariably belittle other people and make them know how inferior to themselves they think that you are. And when people put themselves on a pedestal, the natural desire of so many others is to try to knock them off that pedestal. And how often do we hear people saying, "Oh, I hope somebody takes that person down a few pegs." I saw that happen once with someone, and in fact, when they do, they usually come down, really hard. I saw that happen with a young man who was in the seminary with me, who his family seemed to worship the ground he walked on. He was perfect in their eyes. He was everything. He was going to be the family's priest, and it was sickening, quite frankly, to see how much they doted on this guy, above and beyond anything that would be normal. One of the guys even said when he goes home to visit his family, he sleeps in a monstrance. You know, monstrance is what we use to put the Blessed Sacrament in for adoration, so he would sleep there so they could adore him. That was the implication. Well, somebody had said, well, when he gets ordained and goes into a parish, he'll be brought down to size. And believe me, that happened. Somebody did. Bust his bubble finally, knocked him off his pedestal, and he came down crashing. He actually made a much better priest afterwards, once he had been humble. But it would have been a lot easier if he had done it to himself, rather than had somebody else have to, really knock him down that way. But the Lord today is challenging us to be humble, so that, as we hear in the first reading, be humble in your affairs, and you will be loved more than a giver of good gifts. Humble people, people who don't see themselves as better than everybody else, people who realize we're all sinners, we're all in this boat together, and we all need each other, tend to be naturally more friendly, more reassuring, more concerned about other people, and just the type of people you want to be around, the people that make you feel better about yourself. And so that's the Lord's challenge to us today, is to be humble. But what does it mean to be humble? And how do we know when we're doing it? Well, first of all, let's talk about what being humble does not mean. It does not mean totally humiliate yourself. It doesn't mean pretend you're slime, you're garbage, you have no good gifts or anything like that. No, we can't live that way. If we have a special talent or ability, we certainly have to know that. We have to see the goodness within each and every one of us, or we'll never be able to survive. We need that to have our self-respect, to say, hey, I'm unique, I have gifts from God. The difference is to also realize that everybody else has gifts from God. I'm not the only one who has been gifted by God with some particular talent. And we certainly could not do any good for the Lord if we did not acknowledge whatever particular skills or talents we have, and if we pretended we don't really have them. Imagine, for example, you meet a baseball player. Since I'm a Yankee fan, I'm going to pick Aaron Judge. And you get to meet Aaron Judge, and you say to him, "Man, you're good." I said, "You're really a great home run hitter, everything. You're really fantastic." And imagine he would have said, "No, not really. I'm not all that great. I'm no better than anybody else." And you say, "Come on, you're leading Major League Baseball right now in home runs by a long shot. Nobody is even close to the number you've hit. Of course you're a good home run hitter, a good baseball player." Nah, the other pitchers, they just want to make sure that somebody breaks the record soon, so they've all gotten together and they're giving me nice, easy pitches that I can hit for home runs, but it's really not my talent. Well, of course not. That's silly. We know that's not happening. Yes, the man is a good home run hitter, and he hardly would be able to deny the fact that he can hit home runs very well. So you'd expect him to say, to acknowledge it. However, on the other hand, if he were to say, "Well, of course I am, and it's astute of you to notice I'm the best that's ever played the game," you'd say, "Yeah, all right, yeah, we got this guy's number," and that's when you hope he never hits one again, just so that, he would be humbled a little bit. No, what I would hope to hear him say would be something on the order of, "Oh, thank you very much, you're very kind. Yes, I know I'm a good baseball player, I can hit home runs very well, but it's God's gift to me. And I thank him every time I'm able to hit one. And God has given me this gift, and I use it to give glory to him, to use it so that other people will realize how beautiful, how good, and how beautiful God is." And that's how we go about our affairs with humility, giving all the honor for any good we can do to God. Yeah, it's nice if somebody praises us. We do something well and they say, hey, you did a good job with that. And we say, oh, thank you. And we feel good. But right away, thank God for that. Maybe even in words to the other person, say thank you. Well, thank you. Yeah, God's given me this gift and I like to use it for him. And it doesn't have to be a learned person, or somebody really very holy in order to do that. In fact, I remember once a young boy who once amazed me by doing that. The kid I worked with in one parish, and he had been in our 8th grade. He was an altar boy and active in a lot of the activities in the parish. And like many young 13, 14-year-old boys, he was very much into sports. And he would play different sports, especially baseball, and he held his own. But he was not stellar. By no means did he embarrass anybody, but nobody looked at him with awe at the way he could play the game. He was average like many of the other kids on the team. And he used to talk with me a lot, and he was saying, I wish I could just find one thing that I was really good at. Well, his prayer was answered when he went off to high school, and he joined the swim team, and quickly discovered he was a very good swimmer. His size and his build made him very much cut out for it, and he could beat other people very easily in a match. So much so that even as a freshman, he was asked to be on the varsity swim team. And he said to me once, he said, I'm so grateful to God for giving me this ability to swim, showing me this talent, that every time I'm in a meet, when I get in the pool, before we begin the meet, I say a little prayer and I say, God, I'm swimming this meet for you, to thank you for this gift you gave me. Well, that's it right there. That's conducting our affairs with humility. And so it's really a very simple thing that the Lord is teaching us today, not to puff ourselves up, not to make everybody have to tell us how great we are all the time, not anticipate it or expect it. Neither should we ignore the gifts God has given us and think we really don't have anything to offer, because otherwise we won't do anything for the Lord. But to acknowledge whatever good we have, whatever abilities we have, any talents, to use them wisely and use them for the Lord and give him thanks for the gift that he's given us. Because if we can, and in doing that, we'll impress so many other people, we'll be friendly with them, they'll want to be around us, we'll lead them closer to the Lord, and we will be a positive influence in their life. And so what we hear in the first reading is so very much true. My friends, conduct your affairs with humility, and you will be loved more than a giver of good gifts. May Jesus Christ be praised, now and forever.